3 rings in 4 years, but this one just felt different. The Aces didn't just win the trophy. They methodically, almost surgically, dismantled a Phoenix Mercury team that was playing on fumes, pure pride, and little else. This right here is how a dynasty refuses to blink, how it cements its legacy, and yet it's also the story of how an underdog, battered and bruised, can still land punches, even as they're falling. It was a sweep, yes, but calling it easy would be a disservice to the heart on both sides of the court. Las Vegas rolled into the Mortgage Matchup Center wearing the crown. Heavy with the weight of 2 previous championships. Phoenix? They were wearing band-aids, metaphorical and probably literal. No Sabali, no problem? Not exactly. Satu Sabali, a critical piece of their offense and defense, was sidelined with a concussion, leaving a gaping hole in their lineup. Imagine trying to win a championship with one of your best players watching from the bench. It's an uphill battle that feels more like climbing Everest in flip-flops. Still, against all odds, DeWanna Bonner and Alyssa Thomas, 2 absolute warriors, had dragged this Mercury squad here on sheer will, heart, and an almost superhuman hustle. But let's be real, their roster sheet looked less like a championship contender and more like a hospital chart. They'd even started 3 different point guards during their playoff run, a testament to their adaptability but also their desperation. Despite the glaring disparities, for 2 quarters in Game 4, Phoenix made the Aces sweat. Down a daunting 12 points at the break, 54-38, most teams would fold. Most teams should fold. But the Mercury aren't most teams. They came out of the locker room for the 3rd quarter and punched back with a furious 10-2 run, slashing the deficit and sending a jolt through the arena. The building shook. The air crackled. For a minute, just a glorious, impossible minute, it felt like the dream might just be within reach. The faithful Phoenix crowd, having witnessed so many improbable moments from their team over the years, roared its approval, daring to believe. But then, the Aces reminded everyone why they're champions. Let's dissect a play, shall we? With 7:03 left in the 3rd quarter, a baseline out of bounds. It's a moment that, in retrospect, encapsulates the entire series. Chelsea Gray, the point Gawd, walks the floor like she's strolling through an art exhibit, unhurried, utterly in control. Kirsten Bell sets a ghost screen, a phantom pick that doesn't make contact but disrupts defensive assignments. Jackie Young, always moving, flares to the weak side slot, drawing attention. And Aja Wilson, the reigning MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, seals the rookie Natasha Mack under the rim. What happens next is poetry in motion. 1 bounce from Gray, 2 passes, a quick flick to Young, who immediately fires it to Wilson, and a simple, uncontested layup. The Mercury never rotated, not because they weren't trying, but because the Aces never let them. Their movement, their timing, their selfless execution was a masterclass in offensive spacing and decision-making. That's the whole series in a nutshell, isn't it? 5 legitimate scoring threats on the floor, 0 hesitation in finding the best shot. Phoenix threw everything they had at them. Zone defenses, man-to-man, even a desperate box and 1, or a token 2-3 junk defense. But Vegas just smiled, adjusted, and found the open hand, the open lane, the open shot, every single time. Their offensive chemistry isn't just good. It's a living, breathing entity that adapts and thrives under pressure. Still, Phoenix wouldn't quit. They never do. Mid-4th quarter, Alyssa Thomas, who had been a relentless force all series, grabs her 12th rebound of the night. She immediately kicks it ahead to Kalia Copper, who, with the confidence of a seasoned veteran, pulls up from the logo. Yes, the logo. And banks it in. Swish. The lead was cut to 6 points with 5:48 left on the clock. The crowd, sensing a monumental shift, absolutely erupted. The noise was deafening, a wave of hope washing over the arena. Aces head coach Becky Hammon, ever the picture of composure, immediately called a timeout. You might expect a fiery speech, a tirade, players being yelled at. But Hammon doesn't scream. She points. She calmly but firmly pointed at Aja Wilson, and according to sideline reports simply said, "Make them guard you, not the refs." It was a brilliant, subtle challenge. Hammon knew the Mercury were playing with desperation, and that could lead to frustration and complaints to the officials. She wanted Wilson to dominate the game, not get caught up in the periphery. Next possession, Wilson, with that killer instinct, executes a perfect duck-in, a powerful spin move, and finishes with an emphatic and 1. The foul was called. The shot dropped, And just like that, the crowd was muted. The air went out of the building. The series was effectively over. The Mercury had thrown every haymaker left in the locker room, every ounce of their remaining energy. But when you're missing 18 points a night from Sabali's spot, when your bench is depleted and your stars are playing heavy minutes on tired legs, the math is cruel. The Aces had too many answers, too much firepower. Let's talk about the dagger. Final 2 minutes, shot clock ticking down to 6, Chelsea Gray topside with the ball. Everyone in the gym, every player, every coach, every fan knew she was going to her patented pull-up jumper, a shot she hits with ridiculous consistency. It's her bread and butter, her comfort zone, her finisher. But instead, Gray, ever the magician, freezes Bonner with a deceptive hang dribble, creating just enough space. Then, instead of shooting, she drops a perfectly timed pocket pass to a cutting Jackie Young. Young catches, finishes, draws the foul, and gets the free throw. Count it, foul, free throw. Ball game. That's the luxury of trust, isn't it? Trust built over 4 finals runs, over countless practices, over shared triumphs and setbacks. Gray doesn't need to score. She needs to make the right play, find the right hand. Wilson doesn't need to force a shot. She needs to get to the right rim, the high percentage look. Chemistry isn't just a feel-good slogan in Vegas. It's a tangible, binding contract they renew every single possession. It's the unspoken language, the split-second decisions that elevate a great team to a dynasty. They understand each other's movements, anticipate each other's thoughts, and execute with a seamless synchronicity that few teams ever achieve. Let's talk about the cold, hard facts. The statistics that tell a story of dominance and heartbreak. Aja Wilson. She was simply unstoppable. 31 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists in Game 4 alone. More importantly, she secured the first triple crown in league history. MVP, Finals MVP, and Defensive Player of the Year in the same glorious season. Think about that for a second. To be recognized as the absolute best player, the most impactful in the championship series, and the premier defender in the entire league, all in 1 year? It's not just historic. It's legendary. It solidifies her place among the pantheon of WNBA greats, a true generational talent who elevates her game when it matters most. Chelsea Gray. She moved into 6th all-time in WNBA playoff steals, a testament to her defensive prowess and uncanny anticipation. But beyond the numbers, she's first all-time in calm. Her composure under pressure, her ability to dictate the pace of the game, and her clutch playmaking are unparalleled. She's the steady hand that guides the Aces ship through turbulent waters. Jackie Young. She made her own indelible mark, scoring 21 points in a single finals quarter back in Game 2. That wasn't just a career high. It was a WNBA Finals record, a moment that absolutely broke the Mercury's backs and showed the depth of the Aces' offensive arsenal. Young isn't just a complimentary piece. She's a star in her own right, earning all WNBA second-team honors for her season-long excellence. On the flip side, there's the tragic beauty of Alyssa Thomas's performance. She averaged a staggering 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists for the series, willing her team to compete every single night. She surpassed Jonquel Jones for 6th all-time in postseason rebounds, a remarkable achievement that speaks to her relentless motor and physicality. And yet, despite all that, she still walked off the court empty-handed, another championship slipping away. Sometimes the scoreboard is just heartless, isn't it? It doesn't care about effort, about grit, about playing through pain. It only cares about the final score. Dynasties aren't just stacked teams. They're teams that stay present. They don't just have talent. They have an unwavering belief in themselves and each other, especially when the chips are down. Vegas stared at a 2-1 deficit against Indiana in the conference finals, went to overtime in a grueling Game 5, and didn't flinch. They found a way to win because that's what dynasties do. They overcome. And how do they build that kind of mental fortitude? It's not always glamorous. We heard stories about them doing escape rooms during the regular season. Not just for fun, but to learn each other's tells, to understand how each person reacts under pressure, to build communication and trust in stressful situations. It sounds a little corny, right? Like a corporate team-building exercise, until you realize they literally escaped every single playoff trap laid for them. They learned how to problem solve,